In this lesson, we're going to look at just comparing two fractions and ordering a set of fractions. So there's a couple ways that you can do this. If I want to look at 5/8 and 7/12 and compare them using greater than, less than, or equal to, one of the strategies you can use is finding a common denominator. So you think of a common multiple of 8 and 12. And I know that both 8 and 12 are multiples of 24. So I create new fractions equal to 24 on the bottom. You ask yourself, how do you get from 8 to 24? And I know that 8 times 3 makes 24, so I do the same thing on top. 5 times 3 is 15. The same thing goes for 12. I know 12 times 2 makes 24. I do the same thing on the top. 7 times 2 is 14. I know that 15 over 24 is greater than 14 over 24. Another strategy you can use for the same one, especially when you don't like working with fractions or it's hard to find a common multiple, is you can change them both to decimals. So if I change 5/8 to a decimal by doing numerator divided by denominator, I get 0.625. And do the same thing for 7/12. 7 divided by 12, 0.583 repeating. So I know when I look at these, if I look in the first column, a 6 is greater than a 5, which makes 5/8 greater than 7/12. If I want to order them, I can do the same thing as I did above. I know that 2, 6, 3, and 5 all have 30 as a common denominator factor. 2 times 15 equals 30, so 1 times 15 is 15. 6 times 5 makes 30, 5 times 5 is 25. 3 times 10 makes 30, 2 times 10 is 20. 5 times 6 makes 30, 3 times 6 is 18. From there, I can order them. I know that 15/30 is the smallest, so I'm going to put 1/2, it's my first number. I know that 18/30 is next, so 3/5. 20/30, 2/3, and then 25/30, 5/6. You can also do the decimal method like we did up here. As a decimal, 1/2 is 0.5. As a decimal, 5/6 is 0.83 repeating, so I'm going to put a couple 3's. 2/3 is 0.6 repeating, so I'm going to put a few 6's. And 3/5 is 0.6. When you compare the decimals like this, you have to make sure they have the same amount of numbers. If there's spaces, you have to fill those spaces with zeros. 0 there, 0 there. And I know looking at it that 500 is the smallest, so 1/2 would be first. I know that 600 is the next smallest, so 3/5 would be next. 666 is next, and that goes with 2/3. And then 833, and that goes with 5/6.